not going to grow.
Yeah, you're gonna grow apart.
You're not going to grow. You're not going to go in the direction that you want to go in. I'm gonna say, but you got to have somebody that's equally yoked, that has the same understanding, knows the same responsibilities and obligations to each, to you just as well as you have with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The relationship. So I mean that's because marriages are they're feeling. They're feeling. And it goes back to what, this whole topic is all about. The confusion, people being combative, is because a lot of stuff that they've been told is coming to find out.
It's a lie.
We've been lied to. It was a lie, man. It was a lie. Lie.
All lies. All lies. So, yes, I'd be upset, too. Hey, man, once I started finding out certain information, it pissed me off. I was like, I can't believe this, man. I mean, this was really going on? And so, but then once you get that understanding and gain that knowledge of certain systems and certain things in place, though, you really just see it, right? And then it's like a movie. It just plays out. And then you're so excited to tell somebody that, hey, man, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you exactly how this is going to go, right? Because you really saw and paid attention rather than rejecting that information, right? You could have rejected information when you got new information that went against what you were taught, right? I could have rejected information no matter who. Listeners, you guys could have rejected information. Maybe you rejected some information today, but now sit back and marinate on it and see, why did they bring that to you, for one? And then for two, do the research for yourself. When anybody brings anything to you, study to show thyself approved, right? Do the research for yourself. You want to research everything. We got these computers that we walk around with in our pocket every day. These little phones, smartphones, right? So it shouldn't be a dummy out there. Shouldn't be a dummy out there, right? We got these smartphones, whatever. So there's opportunities for learning right at your fingertips, not just taking information and just running with that. Do the research. Do the research. Right. Knowledge is power. I guess the right kind of knowledge. The right kind of knowledge, is power.
And also, too, man, with that information and having knowledge, sometimes it's information and knowledge, man, that a person can obtain, but it's like it's so deep and controversial to where a lot of people they're going to reject it, but they don't even understand the very nature of the thing that they're rejecting is the essence of everything. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, honestly, like there's a lot of stuff that's not talked about enough. Like when we're dealing with, the photosynthesis process in the animal life, plant life, and human life. Because it's all the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Right. We don't talk about this stuff enough because in Scripture, going back to Scripture, right? It's in Scripture that those. Now, I want us to think about this. This is a photosynthesis process. It happens in the animal life, the plant life, and the human life, right? The sun is the main source of its primary purpose. The sun gives everything.
Gives it all.
The sun does that.
Everything.
That's in the animals, plant, and human.
Everything uses it. It benefits from it.
Right? But we have a people that bodies rejects it. That rejects the very source to give everything else life. We have a people that actually their body rejects that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about these things. So not talking about these things, it leaves us unaware of the things and detriments that can occur because we don't pay attention to it. But that's just how far we've strayed. That's how far we've strayed from God, from our Creator.
Yeah.
And this is going to always be confusing because no matter, like I say, in religion, in our religion, it tells in the ending of the times or in the days that you're going to get what you strive for. You know what I mean? So if you out here and you doing bad and you living bad, you're going to receive it. I've heard you say 1,000 times. If you put it out there, the earth going to bring it back to you.
It has to. It has to.
Right.
If you plant, a lemon tree, then it has to produce lemons.
Right.
So I mean, it has to, man. I'm gonna do something real quick, man. I'm gonna introduce something real quick. I'm gonna do like a little musical break, just by about 10 seconds. A little station identification or something like that. We gonna just ride it out. Just just give me about 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Can you dig it? Yeah.
Yes,
Hold on. And we're back. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate your time, Mr. Book, and your patience for that little interlude real quick. Man, as you were, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I applaud your efforts though, man, and your and your passion for wanting to put information out there and really get people to think on a level that sometimes we just don't do. We simply don't do. We don't do enough of. And so that's why I think about a radio, man, and a platform that we're using is important because it forces you to get outside of that. Whether you're, hanging on to every word or listening just every fifth word or whatever the case may be, but it still forces you to receive some information that, okay, let me do a little more research on that. Let me see what those guys are talking about, because it is, what do you say? When you have an enemy, right? When you have an enemy is subtle, right? And an enemy is consistent in their approach. So when we talk about confusion and combat, the enemy is sitting back loving that because then you don't see the plan that's being placed and plotted, right? For your ultimate demise because it has you arguing opinions or arguing feelings rather than, as you say, just taking a step back and just look and just observing and just really just seeing, you know what I'm saying, though, with the eyes that God gave you, you know what I'm saying, though, think with your mind. We have this mind, God gave it to us, that intuition that you get, that feeling or whatever, start thinking with that. Start thinking with that because, again, we're walking around as what? Souls and spirits in a body, right? In a shell. So you say the light recognize light, darkness recognize darkness, right? So if I'm your enemy, right, and I got kicked out of a heavenly place, right, that I can't go back to, am I happy that you going there and I can't go there? Okay, if I got a wife, right, and she's a good wife, didn't do it right. I'm going to leave you, Shelton. I'm out of here. Deuce. All right? And then get with somebody else that treat her, love her, that treat her like she's supposed to be. I'm not happy, right? Because I messed that up. I messed that all. I had that opportunity. You dig what I'm saying? So when you have an enemy, again, no matter what you believe or no matter what your level, what you believe, when if you have an enemy, when you have a plan, when you have something in place that is there to stall you and make you not get there, their approach is never going to be, they're never going to let up. They're never going to let up. So what we have to be mindful of is to stay on point, to stay thinking, to stay mindful of the tricks, to stay mindful of the schemes that place and not fall into it. And then also be able to reach and tell somebody else. Again, we say without making it an argument, without making it something that's hard to do. Just make it a conversation because you're just doing it in love. I would encourage more of us to just do it in love. If you're not doing it in love, do it in love. But because, again, we have a constant threat. The threat is constant. It's not letting up. As you just mentioned earlier, man, you see the signs. You see a lot of this stuff that's going on, and this ain't preaching, this reaching. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's imperative that we get this and we understand this thing collectively.
Right? When you look at our society, what's really going on, especially in the black community, man, they are actually feminizing our young boys, our young men, they are feminizing them, bro.
More confusion.
They are, bro. And that's because full of confusion, you know. But, see, now, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is deception and the combativeness, because all of it plays a part into why things is the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We don't identify. Like, we have a problem with identifying evil for what it is. We have a problem with identifying it. What we do is we turn everything into this mystery or into this spookified existence. You know what I mean? Like, if something bad befalls you, one of us, the first thing we do, we blame it on something that you can't actually see. And that's not the case. It's not the case. It's not the case. These are people, like the reflection of us. That's why I said a lot of this is deep, and it would take more than us, doing this segment to fully break down what I was talking about earlier with the photosynthesis process, because it's very interesting and it's a lot of knowledge up in there for people that have that third eye, that understands that as a black man, as a person, I know who my enemy is. And when I say that, it's because I know who my enemy is. It's physical. It's physical. It's not a spirit. It's not anything like that. And sometimes that's what we always associate our enemies with, something that you really can't see or you can't deal with. When the reality of it is, they walk right in front of us every day. We sit down and we eat with them, but these things are not being taught, See, our ancestors have been talking to us, but we don't get ancestry no more. We get angels. You know what I mean? You see how everything has changed, but they've been communicating. In all forms of religion, they have been communicating to us some of the things that we never supposed to got away from. And we don't understand what slavery has done to us. Like, we are the people of that book.
Yeah.
Like, we are all of that.
All up and through there.
We're all of that. Like, we're here by default. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to become leaders. We know that. We know that's going to happen. But we don't talk about it because we've let time, this post-slavery syndrome set in with all these distractions to the world. We're not even reminding ourselves of the heathens or the Gentiles. We don't even think about this stuff no more.
Yeah. But it's there. Because it's told everything that about our history, our culture, since you jumped on that point, you just jumped on through there. Everything about that though, man, it's been written in a different way. It's been messed with, it's been deemed as bad or negative. So if you think about it, right? If you've been told that something is bad, negative, or the boogeyman, and you don't need to mess with that kind of stuff, you don't even pay no attention to it. You don't even try to do any research on that, because remember, that's bad. That's the boogeyman, right? So you got to figure out, why is that considered bad, and then this over here is considered good. You dig what I'm saying? So that's the reason why you have so many, as you say, awake, woke, or not woke, or whatever, however you want to say that, because they've been told that part of that history it shouldn't be appreciated, shouldn't be researched, shouldn't be understood, because that's bad, because we're going to take this over here and we're going to make this good, right? And so you just again, so if you've been taught that and literally been beat into that, your mind isn't going to go to another spot, to another place, because you're not going to even let it go there, or because your energy and your spirit just been beat down. Hello?
Right. And that's the problem that's going on in our society. Like, all the lies have reached its ending point. The truth is going to manifest itself. Right? You know what I mean?
That's why you got so much confusion. I mean, that's right back to that same topic again. That's where a lot of the confusion comes to, because what I thought I knew,
right,
I don't know. what I thought was this was supposed to be, it's not. And so then when you find that out, you know, that messes with your mind, you know what I'm saying, though, that cognitive dissonance or whatever, it's a cognitive dissonance, it messes with your mind because you automatically, you know, it's like, I don't want to receive that. You know, it's just like the first hit of a cigarette, right? Your body going to reject it because you don't want to receive that. It's not supposed to have it, you know? So it's like, so you get this new information and your body going, I don't